Thank you for the invitation to address participants in today's webinar. I'm delighted to be asked to present on the topic, Optimising Australia's Pathway to Being Global Hydrogen Leader. Before I begin, I'd like to recognise that I'm hosting this webinar on Larrakia land, and I'd like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians, the Larrakia people, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I've been asked to focus my talk on what policies we have developed to optimise Australia's pathway to being a global hydrogen leader here in the NT. I'm heartened to report that we are seeing true collaboration and engagement among all Australian jurisdictions. We are working together to maximise Australia's competitive advantage globally and to grow rather than split the collaborative national hydrogen investment. With abundant renewable resources covering a vast geographical landmass, Australia is exceptionally well positioned to capitalise on increasing global hydrogen demand. The Northern Territory Government is buoyed by the opportunities that clean energy, including renewable hydrogen, offer to reduce emissions and to strengthen our economy and create jobs for Australians. I will touch more on the Northern Territory Government's role a little later. There are various challenges associated with the emerging hydrogen industry, the task at hand, and the pace that is needed to maximise Australia's global hydrogen market share. Highlight the importance of all governments working together to get regulatory and policy settings right, and remove barriers to industry development. To this end, the Australian Government published Australia's National Hydrogen Strategy in 2019, setting the path to accelerate commercialisation of hydrogen, reduce technical uncertainties, and build domestic supply chains and production capabilities. Every state and territory, including us, the Northern Territory, has since followed suit, implementing hydrogen strategies aligned with the National Hydrogen Strategy and committing to renewable energy targets, the ultimate goal of net zero emissions by 2050 or earlier. Through the National Hydrogen Strategy, all jurisdictions are committed to nationally consistent and smart regulation. Work is currently underway to amend the National Gas Law to incorporate hydrogen and its derivatives. An extensive regulatory review has recently been completed, identifying a list of key legislation affecting the hydrogen industry supply chain. That review is now being used to inform the development of a number of national codes of best practice, which will provide clear regulatory pathways for hydrogen and ammonia projects. The outcome of this work will be improved safety, regulatory certainty, and national consistency. Another key policy initiative being progressed under the National Hydrogen Strategy is the rollout of regional hydrogen hubs, which bring together users of hydrogen into one area, co-locating producers, users, and potential exporters of hydrogen creates early-stage springboards to scale, minimising costs through shared infrastructure and focusing efforts for innovation and building a hydrogen-ready workforce. International clean energy partnerships are a further example of foundation-setting work, positioning Australia to be a major hydrogen exporter. These partnerships help increase and diversify clean energy supply chains and build new trade opportunities for Australia. Partnerships are already in place with a number of our key trading partners. The firm public policy focus to help Australia capitalise on our competitive advantages and scale up the development of renewable hydrogen industry has been highlighted in recent government budgets. Key budget commitments at the national level include the new $2 billion Hydrogen Head Start program to provide revenue support for large-scale renewable hydrogen projects, and just under $40 million for the creation of a Guarantee of Origin scheme to certify renewable energy and verify emissions from clean energy products. This initiative is critical to support the international trade of hydrogen. As mentioned earlier, the Northern Territory Labor Government is very excited about the opportunities that clean energy, including renewable hydrogen, brings to the Territory. Since 2017, our Territory Government has delivered a number of initiatives to increase renewable energy demand, making strong headway towards our 50% by 2030 target. Key among these were the installation of a new $30 million 35 megawatt battery energy storage system and implementation of the Home and Business Battery Scheme to incentivise the uptake of small-scale batteries for retail customers. The Territory Government has supported Territory Generation, our government-owned energy utility, to purchase a 22 megawatt hydrogen-capable generator. Building on our effort to drive increased solar and battery storage, our Territory Government is focused on the potential for hydrogen to contribute to our renewables and net zero emissions targets. It will also contribute to our goal of a $40 billion economy by 2030, and with a potential $22.2 billion of renewable projects in the pipeline, the Territory's hydrogen future is looking promising. Interest in large-scale hydrogen in the Territory is being driven by our globally competitive solar irradiance levels, space and local mass solar, generation facilities, and master planning for infrastructure corridors and industrial facilities. In July 2020, the Territory released its Renewable Hydrogen Strategy. This was followed in October 2021 by the Northern Territory Renewable Hydrogen Master Plan. The Master Plan aligns with the National Hydrogen Strategy Adaptive Pathway, focusing on the foundations to enable renewable hydrogen industry through fit-for-purpose regulation, renewable energy resource assessments, land use planning, and local industry and workforce development. Territory-wide strategic land planning is underway to support a gigawatt-scale green energy network for industry. This work will identify priority renewable generation regions and early land use planning to meet the Territory's renewable hydrogen industry vision. It will then seek to connect these regions to a prime production zone with transmission corridors. The recent Northern Territory budget also allocated $1.7 million to collect and publish investment-grade wind resource data here in the Territory. Along with solar, the Territory has strong, though less well understood, wind resource potential. It is hoped that this initiative will assist prospective investors in assessing the suitability of the Territory for large-scale wind generation. In addition to the Territory-wide strategic planning work, the Territory Government is working with industry on a sustainable, world-class development-ready industrial precinct with a focus on renewable hydrogen, advanced manufacturing, carbon capture and storage, as well as minerals processing. The Middle Arm Sustainable Development Precinct comprises of around 1,500 hectares of industrial land located on the Middle Arm Peninsula of Darwin Harbour, in close proximity to existing port and other critical infrastructure. Work is well underway to de-risk investment by creating certainty for industries on the availability of infrastructure and services, and a clear roadmap for rigorous and efficient development approvals. More than 200 studies have already been undertaken to inform the design and the advancement of the precinct. The Australian Government has committed $1.5 billion of marine infrastructure for the precinct, including modular, offloading facility, common user wharf, and widening of shipping channels. Along with the enabling policy and funding initiatives, various large-scale renewable and hydrogen projects are currently being progressed here in the Territory. The Northern Territory and the Australian governments have awarded major project status to the 20 gigawatt and 12,000 hectare Sun Cable solar farm and the battery storage facility. The world's largest solar storage and transmission system project proposes to transmit renewable energy from the Territory's central region through a 4,200 kilometre high voltage direct current cable to Darwin and beyond. The Larrakia Energy and Larrakia Development Corporation joint venture is progressing a plan, and that is to build a 300 megawatt solar farm in the Darwin region. Once constructed, the project will be Australia's largest Aboriginal-owned solar farm. Total Erin's Darwin H2 Hub project proposes 2 gigawatts of solar PV generation and power 1 gigawatt green hydrogen electrolyser and aims to produce 80,000 tonnes of hydrogen per year to export. Pavaris's Tiwi H2 project proposes phased development of up to 28 gigawatts of solar capacity, producing 100,000 tonnes of hydrogen per year to export to Asia. In closing, it's been a pleasure to share some of these key enabling policy initiatives and associated funding commitments that are paving the way for commercialisation of export-scale hydrogen industry, and also to demonstrate these initiatives are translating into significant pipeline of renewable energy and green hydrogen projects in the Territory. I've only had time to touch just on the surface. There are many more exciting initiatives being progressed across the nation. With our significant natural competitive advantage and the commitment to unlock these through a very dedicated and national collaborative effort, the future of Australia is bright for an emerging hydrogen industry. Thank you once again for the opportunity to speak at today's webinar. The Northern Territory Government is optimistic and very proud to be part of the national efforts in optimising Australia's pathway to being a global leader in the renewable hydrogen industry.